In this video demonstration, we're going to take a look at how we can pass parameters into our custom filters in AngularJS. Now here we have our application defined on this div DOM element here, and then down here we have the module for our application. Now you'll notice that I'm going to be doing everything with the root scope in this demo. Typically you would create a controller and then use a child scope, but for a simple demo on filters, using the root scope is sufficient. Okay. So I'm going to come up here and add a message template variable. And then down here in my run function, I'm going to say root scope dot message equal to hello world. We're going to save that. We'll come back to our web browser, reload the page, make sure that it loads fine, and it does. Excellent. There's our hello world. Now, what we want to do is we want to create a custom filter with a parameter. So to create a filter in AngularJS, we're going to use the filter function, and I'm going to call this filter myConcat. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to concatenate two strings together. We're going to take the actual string being passed into the filter, and we're going to concatenate it with a parameter. So I'm going to say function here. And this filter function that we've created is basically kind of like an object factory. Or a function factory. It's going to return out a function from here that's actually going to be our filter. Now the first parameter that we have into this function is the actual value that we're going to pass into the filter. And the second parameter is going to be the value that we want to append. So we'll just say text to append. Okay, so we'll take our myConcat here, and we're going to call it like this. All right, now we need to pass it a parameter for that text to append. So for our parameter, we can call it like this. We use a colon to separate the name of the filter and its parameter. So here I'm going to add a parameter called, we'll just say, we'll put some exclamation points in there. And then down here, we'll remove the one exclamation point that we have there. And now, inside of our filter function, we'll simply do return string value plus string text to append. This is just making sure that we take whatever value that's passed in and make sure that we convert it to a string. So now I can use my function here, and this will actually append these exclamation points to the message. So if we reload our web page here, we'll see that now we have these exclamation points appended to that. So as you can see, it's very easy to pass in parameters. If we wanted to pass in another parameter, we would put another colon, and this time let's do question marks. So now we could come in here and we could add ourselves another parameter, text to append to, and we'll copy that. And we'll say string text to append to. We'll save that, and we can reload this. And bam, there we have our question marks at the end. Now what's really nice is we can pass in any type of value that we want. So I'm passing in here strings. I could pass in a number if I wanted to. I could pass in an array. If I had an array like this, I could pass in arrays like that. And actually, I wouldn't want to do commas. I'd want to do colons. So there we go. There are my colons. And so I can basically pass in as many parameters as I would like. Now, in addition to doing it this way in the template variable, I can also pass in parameters when I access this filter with a function. So let's remove all of this. And let's come down here and pass in the filter service into our run function. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say $filter, and I'm going to put in the name of my function here, and paste that in there. So that's going to retrieve my function. Now to invoke it, I simply have an open and close parens. There's the value that I want to pass into the filter, and now this is where I put my extra params. So now I'll put some exclamation points followed by some question marks, put my closing parens, and then I can save that. and then I can reload my page. And now we'll see that we still have the exclamation points and the question marks. So we have the ability not only to pass in extra parameters in the template, but we can also pass in extra parameters via the filter service as well.